What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. And we got data update time. We're going to go through the PSA data as of, today's the 27th. We're going to go through it as of the 26th. I pulled the data yesterday and updated the spreadsheet. And let's take a look and see how PSA did last week. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to start off with the complete through dates, because it's a little scary, the complete through dates. So this is complete through dates as of 4/26. I'm comparing them to complete through dates as of 4/19. So last week when I pulled this data, walkthrough had no change. Super Express had no change. Express had no change. And when I say by no change, I mean they haven't made like any improvement. It was a 7-day, it was like a week wait last time, and it's about a week wait this time. So for these three service levels here, you're looking at, you know, basically a week for walkthrough and Super Express. It's like a week for walkthrough and then like 10 days for Super Express, roughly, is what you're looking at. And then Express is about a month out. No, 2 months out, roughly. Regular is still almost 3 months out. Yeah, almost 3 months out for regular. But that only improved by 4 days last time. So let me pull up the 19th. I'm kind of put these next to each other. Make sure I'm not blocking them out. I realized I did that last week in last week's video where I was like, my face was like up here blocking out some of the dates. So I apologize. Yeah, so check this out. So you got about, they actually got worse on walkthroughs, because walkthroughs were about 5 days. They're now about 6 days. It's about the same. Super Express is about the same. Super Express was about 12 days. Now they're still about 12, 13 days. Express is about 3 months, it looks like. And they're still about 3 months. So if you submitted something with Express, it's still about 3 months. That's not, not good. So here is regular. Now in these numbers here that I'm putting off to the side, these are based on, based on where it was last week. It only moved 4 days. So in a span of 7 days, it only moved 4 days. These stayed pretty much the same. Economy, reholder, and club vouchers, they all stayed the same. No changes. September 3rd, September 3rd, September 30th, September 30th, September 8th, September 8th. None of these moved, which tells me they're not even messing with these right now. Value Ultra Modern jumped up by a couple of days, and Modern jumped up by like a week. So Modern was really the only one that made a pretty substantial jump. However, it's still, this is August 2nd and this is August 9th. So it's a 7-day difference, but it's a 7-day difference over a 7-day period, which kind of negates what they did. I mean, it tells me that they got through orders, but it wasn't anything substantial. And we'll see that in the data here in a second. Vintage didn't move much. TCG didn't move much. And quarterly specials didn't move at all. So it seems like this week, from between the 19th and the 26th, they really didn't make much headway at all, honestly. So that's a little concerning. I was expecting, based on the announcement of them moving to like this AI platform, that we were going to see some significant moves. So even though that their announcement said that, that the Genamint technology was going to be implemented like immediately, or they said effective immediately, maybe they just meant like the acquisition of the company was complete and effective immediately. They're now part of PSA, because there's no indication in the numbers that says that AI data or that AI process has improved at all, any of their wait times. So I don't know. This was a really slow week for PSA, honestly, based on what I've seen here, and then based on what we're gonna see in the numbers. But there really wasn't no big improvement like we saw last week. From the 11th to the 19th, we saw some pretty significant improvement in ultra modern and modern. So it seems like they really attacked ultra modern and modern. It's either that, or they really have a ton of orders that have been coming in, in the September 3rd, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd area or time frame, which is, even if they're blowing through, significant amount of cards that they're grading, date wise, it didn't put a dent in the date because they got so many from that same date. I don't think that to be true, and I'll tell you why. If we look at the data for 426, they really didn't do a whole lot. It was almost identical to the week of the 19th. They did about 119,000 again. So about 23,000 again, which either they're maxed out, they're capped out, or they're in a space where they, with the people that they have onboarded, they're not making any significant strides. I don't know. But here's one thing to also consider. In one of their press releases, PSA said that every 2 weeks they're hiring more people. So I'm assuming that there is a hiring, like a wave of hires that they do. Maybe they hire, I don't know, let's just say 10, 15 people. And even though they hire those 10, 15 people, it takes them 2 weeks to put them through some sort of training process, some sort of onboarding process, where even though they hire them, they're not ready to start grading, or they're not ready to start looking at cards and things like that. So because we saw, a nice little jump here, but then, it's literally stagnant. There's a difference of like 25 cards from 1 week to the next. So that tells me that the same people that were grading these cards are the same people that are grading these cards. The same capacity from a capacity standpoint, it's the same amount of people, and they haven't really increased people, which is why they're putting out almost exactly the same amount of cards that they did in the previous week. So, because of that, not really much movement this week in terms of the estimated catch-up dates. They really didn't move. It's still late October, early October is what I have. It's still 167 days. A far cry from their July 1st, which is quickly approaching. They got 30 more days to really ramp things up if they're wanting to be completely caught up by the time that they open up on July 1st. So I'm gonna just kind of keep watching this thing, because I don't feel like they made much progress this week. I'm saying they didn't make much progress this week, obviously, with the very small amount of intakes that they're doing, as far as bringing in orders because of the cutoffs. They're going to make some advancement on the bulk of the backlog, but there isn't anything in the numbers that indicates that they're ramping up, or that they got more people, or that they're turning up the capacity, and they'll be caught up sooner. I was really expecting to see, again, based on the announcement of the AI, based on kind of what we saw from 1 week to the 1 week to the next last week, from the 12th to the 19th, we saw that maybe that 10% jump. I was really hoping to see another 10% jump, which would have put us closer to like 25,000 cards. Let's just say that would have been 25,000 cards. What would that have done? Yeah, that'll bought them a couple of days. So yeah, I was just really hoping to see some increase in their output, but it just wasn't there. It wasn't there this month. This week. They did 23, 17, 23. Yeah. So yeah, they did about 50,000 basketball cards. Let's see. About 30,000 baseball cards. They only did 5, but what are baseball coins? Where do you buy baseball coins and basketball coins? I don't know where you buy those from. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a baseball coin or basketball coin. Unfortunately, there's going to be weeks like this where it's pretty stagnant, and this is one of those weeks. 23,000, 23,008, 23,008. I mean, there's literally a 25 card difference, maybe a 30 card difference from last week. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? Equals that minus that. Okay, that's about 15. Yeah, because that's a yeah. So 16 card difference from one week to the next, which is nothing. They really didn't make any big jumps, any big leaps in capacity. So don't expect those numbers. Don't expect those numbers to jump up anymore. So it all makes sense. It all jives to me because, you know, what we're seeing here is not much movement at all in complete through dates. And then also not much improvement from last week to this week in terms of how many cards they got through. So if my theory is correct in terms of the 2-week onboarding process for new hires, as well as this new announcement about the AI and maybe that not kicking in right away in terms of the implementation of that process of the AI, then we'll probably see some more significant increase in our May 3rd date, in our May 3rd data from 5.3. So I think that's really what we're gonna see. I don't see any improvement at all this week. So we'll probably see a lot more improvement on Monday, on next Monday. I've been seeing a lot of comments from you guys about how some of you are receiving orders quicker than the complete through dates. That's a good sign. That kind of more leans towards what I'm thinking is going to happen next week. We're going to see a bit of a jump next week. Hopefully it's on par with the 10% that we saw a couple of weeks ago. So I'm, seeing those kinds of comments. I'm also seeing it on forums and stuff like that people's, orders are getting actually put into the system a little bit quicker, and that they're actually like in the process of getting graded, which is good. And then a few of you have said that you've gotten some of your orders back, that were sooner than the complete through dates. So, that's good. That's hopefully we start seeing some of those dates really drive down. But from this week to the next, or from last week to this week, not much improvement. I'm not going to drag this one out any further. Hopefully we'll see some much more improvement on the 3rd, which is going to be next week's data, and we'll keep following this as we go along. But as of right now, it's still the 11th. I mean, there wasn't much of an increase from last week. If they have a 6,000 or 6 million card backlog, then it's January of next year, and then July of next year for the 10 million card backlog, which, as we're getting through this, it's really starting to look like it's a 10 million card backlog. So probably my original assessment of the 4 million is way too low. So we're probably more in this range here. If not somewhere in between the 6 and 8, or 6 and 10, or probably closer to like 8 million. I might do another one for 8 million just to kind of see what those numbers are. But that's it, folks. That's going to do it. Not really much to talk about this week. Big announcement from PSA about their AI. If you haven't watched my video on that, I'll link that in the description. If you like this kind of video, I do this update every Wednesday. So I'm going in there, I'm pulling data out of PSA's pop reports, I'm putting it on here, and we're monitoring how many cards they're grading on a weekly basis in an effort to put together a estimated time frame and when they'll be caught up based on some assumptions. If you haven't seen the first video that I did on this, where I'm explaining the logic and some of the assumptions that we've made and where I'm pulling the data from and where all the data comes from. I'll link that in the description as well. And that's going to do it. We'll catch up with you guys next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for the update. I really think we're going to see some big improvement. Until then, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your friends, with your groups, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Love y'all. Peace.